Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah, we got 'em, yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Bingo bought 'em, never stop it. To the beast of Eastern know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite.
In the stripes.
Yeah.
In the stripes.
In the stripes, man.
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I am Del Loman, joined by my co-host, Pork Chop in the BSG. What is up, boys?
Happy Monday, right?
It is Monday.
Yeah, at least it's not fucking raining. Good God. That rain suck it.
We tried to mow today. My coworker got stuck twice in a half an hour. We just go. We tried to. We're like, we got to get something cut out here, even if it's rainy or not. But I was slopping around, making mudslides everywhere, man. So it was bad today cutting grass.
Right. Ducks have the advantage.
I just ordered another push mower, so that's more money I had to spend.
What brand did you get, Dale? I forgot to ask what brand.
Cheap as possible. Didn't really give a shit. It's a push mower.
Okay.
It won't last long. You buy a nice one, then it floods in your garage anyway. So what the fuck?
Yeah, no shit. I was thinking about you, man. Your garage just flooded. Now the goddamn floodgates opened. Actually, literally, didn't they close the floodgates in Portsmouth?
Yeah, they did something. I don't know.
Yeah, so the floodgates.
It's awful. There's water still everywhere. But I mean, the garage didn't flood again, but it's not pretty.
I'm on a hill, so it's got to rain a whole lot, man, to get here.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad it stopped. It's supposed to rain again maybe Thursday and Friday, but it's like at least we get 3 days off here of the bullshit. I know it's crazy everywhere.
Freezing ass cold. Well, not freezing in the 40s, but yeah.
It's supposed to be in the 20s when I get out of work tomorrow. I'm walking across that parking lot on the way to Big Fancy. Come on, Greg. I'm going to be freezing.
But the joys of Monday, right? At least it's not raining on this Monday. That's the one positive because it was the shit weekend for that.
Did rain a little bit.
But it's never a shit weekend going to Midwest Best Barbecue, wearing a Chop Shop t-shirt or bringing a mug with you just for the hell of it. Proud sponsors of this show. That's never a miserable thing.
I'm wearing one right now with Santori.
I'm wearing this too.
Mine says Santori.
They look similar, but also different.
A lot alike, right?
Yes, they do.
Tyler got his shirt, Make the Bengals Great Again shirt came.
Oh, yeah. Looks good on him.
Who day to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all. We're going to try to put together a big board. We didn't really set any ground rules for this. So we'll do that now. So as we're putting together a top 15 to 20, I mean, we'll go to at least 17 because we picked 17th. And I don't see a reason to have quarterbacks on there right away, which honestly in my top 20 to 25, I'd only be one quarterback anyways, and that's Cam Ward. But I just don't see a reason to put that on this is our Bengals and Brews draft board. So we can do whatever the hell we want with it, to be fair. I don't see them taking a receiver like Tet McMillan or Mecca Ibuka or anything like that. So I'm not going to put one of them on there. But other than that, I feel like you got to include basically every other player that would be on a Bengals board.
Yeah.
We got a lot of needs.
The closer we get to the draft, the bigger my needs expand because – man, Dale, I'm looking at your draft guide, and I'm looking at a lot of these guys that are in the first round, and I'm thinking, and I'm not you, and I don't know this whole first rounder, second rounder, third rounder shit, but I just think that when I read about the guys in your draft guide, some of these players, man, they got a lot of room to improve coming into the NFL. You know what I'm saying? They seem like they're not coming in as day one contributors, and that's people that are going to go high on the board. Yes, he got kicked. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. If anyone was thinking that, no, Derek is back to working night shifts, and he is still struggling like a month later.
Yes.
So he always tells us almost like before every show here, the last 2 or 3, he's like, I'm going to try to get up earlier and make it on before I have to leave and go back to work. And then we don't see him. So we're just going to assume he's still sleeping, trying to wake up, or, he's a lot going on, man. Night shifts and too young.
He is not making the adjustment. He is not doing well.
Not envious of him and dealing with all that. It's like an hour each way from work on top of, being
and then,
on the night shift.
He gets off at 7:30, but he's trying to go for this lead position or whatever. So he has to stay in like an extra 2 hours. They'll keep him like bullshitting about the night or something. You told me it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not
Dale,
good.
Dale, I guess before we get into the ranking the players, I think, well, even though people know about it now, big visit for today for the Bengals, right?
Walter Nolan, and he's supposed to be in town, I believe, sometime this week, maybe today, whenever it sounds like
he is coming today. He is in today. He's coming in today.
Insider Greg says he will be there today. And Ty Hamilton was there today. So that one was posted by Ty Hamilton on his Instagram that he is also in. So today must be D tackle day. So that's 2 D tackles. Maybe there'll be a few others that they're having in because we've been like, they haven't shown too much interest in that position, but you think they could still use another piece there to add to that room. So sounds like they're having some visits. Don't mean they'll take him. We know about Nick Eamon-Wari, and we'll go over all the visits. That's what I got set for Friday's show. So we'll go over like the visits that they've had, and if we get more throughout the week, that'll be a good thing to just kind of review Friday. But this is a combine meeting and a 30 visit for Walter Nolan. So that's one of the first ones we've seen both things for. One of the first people.
Yeah, no, Ian Rappaport officially did a report. He is visiting today. I can confirm Ian Rappaport. And by the way,
we got that news inside Greg.
Chop does not want Eamon-Wari. He has told me specifically how much he does not want.
Fucking hate that guy. Nah, man, he's one of my guys. I mean,
Chop told me that I called Tyson Anderson Dejon Anthony.
Yeah, I know.
My bad.
Hey, look, and Tyson Anderson goes, Dejon. And then I quickly said something to try to change the subject.
It was not a good day Friday in general. So
right. Fucking Lady Bly.
Damn right that got me when you fixing a damn hole in your fucking house and being out in the rain on a ladder that day, and then you say, fuck it, I'm gonna get playing. Boys, did I. That was not a good day to be interviewing people on Jeff's show that are Bengals players.
No.
Couldn't remember.
Man, we had a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But yeah, they need a bass boat. I agree, Tom.
Yes, they do, Tom.
Yes.
But yeah, so the guys that we don't expect to be there, we'll still put on this board. So, and we'll try to come to a consensus because that's what we did last year when we put together one of these, So if it's like, well, I don't see that guy there, and maybe we got to give and take a little. But I'm just going to start first on what I would think, and this is us predicting it for the Bengals. If there's a tiebreaker, it's what we would want. But we're trying to think what the Bengals might have at the top of their board. And I just think best player is a great place to start. And the best player in this draft for me is Abdul Carter, and he's an edge. We still don't know 100% what's going on with Hendrickson, but at the same point in time, we expect him to be here. If he's here or not here, though, you need another pass rusher because it's been a problem there. And, I hope Murphy takes a step. Yeah, you hope Osai takes a step. But Abdul Carter seems like an easily a top 5 talent on about everybody's board, but he's number 1 on my personal board. So would you guys, some of the other guys, Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Tyler Warren, you putting anybody over Abdul Carter on the Bengals?
What do they call it at Penn State, wearing the sticks? Is that what they call it? He's wearing the sticks? I mean, come on, man. This guy's number 11 at fucking Penn State. He's a badass. He's on the top of your draft board. That's it. He's number 1.
Not even a discussion.
I hope he doesn't go number 2, though. Please.
And we don't expect him to be there, right? But
no, God, no.
But he's got to be at the top of the board. Something crazy happens.
100%, yes.
So we're going Abdul Carter first overall on our board we're building here, and then number 2, this is where it gets a little tricky because I have Travis Hunter as my second overall player. But is he a corner? Is he a receiver? If you think he's a receiver more than a corner, I don't think we're taking receiver. No. Same reason I'm not going to have Ted McMillan on this list. No. So if he's that, which I think he would be a corner for the Bengals, right? Because I think different teams are going to have him at different positions.
Yes.
But for me, he'd be a corner. So, okay, do you put him at 2 or Mason Graham, who I think is going to be a great two-way defensive tackle, can get after the quarterback and also very good against the run. I would almost lean toward Mason Graham as my number 2 on this board, but I could be talked into Travis Hunter here.
Yeah, Mason Graham.
I actually would take Travis Hunter over Mason Graham, and the reason is because your draft guide. Mason Graham still got shit to learn. Travis Hunter is a badass right now today. Motherfucker goes plays football. If there's a football game tomorrow and Travis Hunter gets in it, he's ready to go, man, at the NFL level, in my opinion. I think Mason Graham has a little bit of work. I mean, that's according to your draft guide.
Yeah, but I mean, if I had to pick, but if it came down to say both those two were there, Chop, I get what you're saying. I respect Dale's draft guy, but it come down to need, and I would take Mason Graham in a heartbeat.
I mean, if you
Hunter.
line the 3 players up and I told me I could have 2 of them, I'm taking Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. And I don't care if he's a wide receiver or a corner because I'm going to use him on both.
See, and some of these I'm just going to say, chat, give your opinion. T-Bow's
Right.
already saying he's also leaning slightly Mason Graham because, we want your input here.
I
I'm going to be honest. It sounds like 1 vote to 1 vote. And I said I probably would lean Mason Graham, but I also said I could be tucked into Travis Hunter. I'm really a true coin flip here because I do think Travis Hunter is the better prospect, right?
Athlete.
We're talking number
Football
2 on
player.
the board. We don't expect either of these guys to get to the Bengals.
No,
to be fair.
God, no.
I keep saying that throughout this show for some of these guys.
But I just think it's closer to the draft we get. I'm looking more at players instead of positions a lot of times, even for the Bengals, because I just don't think that there's a lot of value, first round value at our pick 17. You know what I'm saying? I think the first round values, the pickings are going to be slim when it gets down to 17.
Well, I'm going to make an executive decision. It's going to be a tie for second.
Okay, it's going to be a tie.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
Either of them are getting there, right? So let's not spend too much time on it. They're 2 and 3, whatever order you want to put them in. They're both after Abdul Carter on the board. Set 2, 3, whatever order. I don't care. Neither of them is probably going to be there. Next is when it actually starts to get interesting because I feel like in this draft, beyond like the quarterbacks who we said we're not taking, like Cam Ward, we hope Shador goes early. Hell, I hope Jackson Dart goes early.
Yes, I do.
You see the Alabama quarterback Milrose, he's rising up. What if he?
Yeah, he accepted the invite to be at the draft. So maybe somebody's made him a promise of a first round, which would be a little crazy to me. But hey,
get Dart up there too. Get Dart up there also.
And there's guys I think will be off the board. I think Genty will be off the board. I think Warren will be off the board. I think Will Campbell will be off the board. I think Armand Membu will be off the board. After that, I'm not so sure. But regardless, to rank those guys for us, my next best player on my board would be Ashton Genty. But it goes back to, okay, we're not even putting quarterbacks on here. We're not even going to put a receiver on here. I still can't talk myself into putting a running back this high on my board.
No. I
agree. As much as I like the player, and I think he's that good of a prospect to be my 4th best prospect.
No, Dale, I couldn't put him in my top. So I did a top 17, which I said and I just couldn't put him in there. I'm sorry. I just couldn't.
You didn't put him in there at all?
No.
He's definitely going to be in my top 17.
I mean, he'd be in my top 17. I'd have a hard time putting him at 4.
Yeah, I'm good with so Greg don't have him in the top 17 at all. Chop and I don't really want to put him at 4, so we're not going to.
It's not because of the play. No, it's just because of the position. That's why I didn't do it.
No, I understand. I understand because same reason that I'm a wide receiver, because after you sign T and after you re-sign Jamar, you still do have Jermaine Burton on his 2nd year. You still do have Andre Osvash, who's basically your starting slot wide receiver. Gesicki almost plays like a slot wide receiver. Charlie Jones, are you going to be able to get anything out of him still? And then I always think you can find receivers later. So it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I understand best player available, blah, 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 blah. This is our board. Yeah. We're not taking a receiver, and we're not putting Genty on the board this early.
Boom. Let's go.
Yeah.
So Tyler Warren's kind of the same thing. I really like Tyler Warren. I don't know. I'd be mad if he was the pick at 17 or Genty because they're getting to 17. But putting a board together, I don't think they'd be this high on my list.
Right.
Tyler Warren, I did put him on the list because you can make someone, I still don't want tight end, but it's somewhat of an okay, decent argument.
Yeah, it goes back to how many players they have. Like bringing back Hudson said something to me, and Grandy, they obviously could bring him back for cheap. And then Gesicki, who they re-signed. And then they've been praising Tanner McLaughlin. The tight end coach went and praised him. That says something. They kept him on the 53 all last year. So you've got those 4 plus Drew Sample. The GOAT, Drew Sample, is still on the roster. So even if Eric all don't play, that's 5 guys technically listed at your tight end position, whether they all play true tight end or whatever.
So if I remember from your draft guide, Tyler Warren is a good receiver. He's only actually played for 1 fucking year that he did any good. The rest of the time,
no, he was good last year. I think he was better than Theo Johnson, who a lot of people really liked, but he wasn't like the man. He was splitting a lot of that with Johnson, where this year it was like he's the man, And
Right.
But as far as like being a complete tight end, he's also not a great blocker right now. Is
no,
that
he's
correct?
a pretty good blocker. He's a pretty good blocker.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Oh.
and he's
I was
he's
just
pretty,
probably
he's
reading
pretty
where it
nasty.
says he could improve, but he's doing a good job at that now.
Well, obviously, I think he could improve, but yeah, he's got the mentality to do it. He's got the size to do it. I don't think it'll be an issue for him to do it at the next level. And you see the flashes of where he'll just take a guy and ride their ass clear out of bounds. Like, I love that shit. I love that mentality.
Yeah.
So you're talking about him at number 4?
I don't think I would. I think honestly, for me, it's like I start looking at especially with what the Bengals need, like a Will Campbell and an Armand Membu, because they are very excited about these guys that are tackles that could kick into guard for now, but could also, an injury happens, you kick them right back out to tackle. Membu's been a right tackle. Will Campbell at LSU, Chop, the great LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I have Campbell as 3 on my list.
He's been the left tackle since he walked in the building.
No, I put Campbell in front of Travis Hunter. I have no problem saying that.
Don't you also see Campbell kicking into guard in the NFL, at least for a little while?
He measured at LSU.
He got them little T-Rex arms, doesn't he?
He measured 33 inches. I figured that's where you were going with that. He measured 33 inches at his pro day. And usually you'd say, well, that's his pro day. That's his team helping him out, this, that, and the other. I don't think it is, because they said there was like 20 people that measured different arm length than what they did at the combine. It sounds like the combine had a real issue this year.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm not one to be like, oh, what's a eighth of an inch to me? I mean,
you're right.
Some people
it's a lot. Please, I'd like another eighth of an inch, please.
So I don't have an issue with Campbell, and I think even LSU. You look right back at Whitworth. I think he would be a Pro Bowl caliber guard day one if you were able to get a guy like Will Campbell on your team, and then you can kick him out to left tackle.
It's nice to have that, because we need someone to back up the tackles also, other than Cody Ford.
Yeah, no, I have no problem telling you. Campbell's 3rd on my list in front of Hunter. I have no problem doing that.
He'd be 4th on mine, and that's where we're at, because we went with Carter and then Graham/Hunter, Hunter/Graham, whichever way you wanted to go. I got Will Campbell as 4th, Chop. Is there anybody that you would push for?
Man, Dale, the players that I really like are the players that play like their fucking hair's on fire on the defense. And so I know that they're coming up, and I'm not a good talent evaluator, but the guys I like are like Jihad Campbell. I know he's got an injury, but I think that guy, any team he goes to, he's going to start day one. Well, as soon as that shoulder's better, and he is going to make an impact. That's why I'm all in on him for the Bengals at 17. But and then you got Nick Emanware, whatever the fuck, man. I swear to God, if you come here, I will say your fucking name right, sir. But this guy also, and I know he's a strong safety, same as Jordan Battle, but he scored a fucking Raz at strong. Both safety positions, corner position, linebacker position, wide receiver. What the fuck? The guy's just – so when I'm looking at these players, I'm looking at athletes. Like someone that's going to come in there and just be a fucking athlete day one and show their worth. And that's why I raise up people like Jihad Campbell. But when you say like his brother Will Campbell, not related.
No relation.
If they are, it's probably fraternal. But I can see, because that's such a good position and it's valued high. And it's not Will Campbell's fault that he can't score a RAS score of fucking 10 on 5 different positions. So I agree with Will Campbell. He's a left tackle. He's a good left tackle. He's going to get taken early.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's put it on the board. He was Greg's 3. He was my 4. You would maybe have a Jihad Campbell or somebody in there.
I bet you Jihad Campbell doesn't come in until double digits on your board, though, right?
Just under, to be honest.
It's funny you say that, because you got me thinking. I actually made an adjustment on my board with Campbell, so thank you for pointing that out.
But yeah, so Divine thinks Campbell will be a phenomenal guard, decent tackle.
I'm willing to miss a couple games. I'm willing to miss. I look, I know about the slow starts, and I know we're building a big board. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I'm willing to miss a couple games with that man if he can come in here and play the rest of the year like he did at Alabama. That guy's fucking on a mission of destruction.
Well, Chop Mel Kiper just came out and said today he says from 15 to 28, he says that shoulder surgery is not going to stop him, but you're not going to like this, Chop. But Chop, he does not see Carson, the guy you like a lot. He does not see him going past 44.
Yeah.
You said also.
I mean, boy can dream.
I know. I didn't want to step on you, but I'm sorry.
But for me, fifth on my board is Armand Membu, and it's similar reasons for Campbell now. He's been right tackle. I actually have more faith in him being a tackle, like super athletic. He's only 20 years old. Like it's like Membu is right there with Campbell, and I've just been on Campbell for so long, and I think what he's done in the SEC is incredible. But guess where Membu played? Also in the SEC.
Right.
He just didn't go to LSU. He was at Missouri.
Sad for him.
For him. But a really good player. So for me, I mean, he would be fifth on my board, just behind Campbell, because same reasons. I think you could kick him in, you could play him either side. I think he could end up being a left tackle in the NFL, even though he's played right tackle. But I also think he could fill either guard spot.
Dale, I put Will Johnson, and I'm probably going to have misgivings about this, but I put Will Johnson next in line on my board at that time. And you know what? A shutdown corner and an OT, those are two very hard things to find, a left tackle and a shutdown corner. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed in either of them, but Will Johnson was next on my list. I mean,
yeah, I just can't have Will Johnson that high, and he's eighth on my board, but he's actually 11th on my big board because it's the he hasn't ran, and I know testing's not everything. I'm always like tape it matters, but when you miss half the season, that also matters.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
So you've been injured. Plus, now you haven't tested, and it seems like it's been a different injury every time to keep him from testing. So there's a lot there that's a big question mark, and I still think he's definitely worthy of being top 15. But man, I can't put him in my top 5 on my big board for me.
That's fine. No, I mean, I forgot about that. So
I would agree, just because of the injury. You know what I mean? Like you said, Dale. If you're coming back from an injury, you want to get out there and test and show the team. So if you're not testing, there's a reason. Because you're not 100. You might be 99, but you're not 100.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, and it is very hard to rank these players. And you can tell as we're doing it, we're all like where they would be for each one of us is completely different. So coming to any kind of a consensus is almost impossible just to get to 17 guys on a board. So right now we're at 5. I would have Membu. Greg would have Will Johnson, and Chop would still be on Jihad Campbell because he wanted him at number 4.
Right. I wanted him at number 3. 4.
So we are nowhere close to a consensus on this.
Right.
Yeah.
On this one.
No,
Dale, I might have Jihad Campbell 3 and move Mason Graham to 4.
Dale, after what you just said to me, I'm
moving him up.
I'm going to change my mind and put I should have moved Will Johnson down way more.
Oh, I thought you were going to put Jihad Campbell there too.
Well, it's all a conversation, right? And it's all. I mean, we all have different opinions on it. And honestly, when you're talking first round, I think every team is going to have a different pick. There's no consensus on any of this stuff. So it's part of it.
There was one year we took Sean Williams to throw around. Remember when Dallas was stupid and because they were interviewing Jerry Jones and showed his whole draft board behind, and they had Sean Williams as a 7th round player. So it just goes to show you everybody has their different rankings.
I wasn't very high on him either, and
I wasn't either. I wanted
outplayed what I thought he would do. I actually liked Bakari Rambo.
I liked Rambo too. I was going to say I wanted Rambo just because of the name.
Got to admit, wrong. So yeah, there's no consensus here. So,
well, what's the chat say?
Let's see what the chat says.
Oh, here's what the chat says. Jihad Campbell.
100% agree, Chop. Yeah, Chop just has that one queued up the whole time.
Divine says, "Mom, how do you pronounce his name?"
Well, I just say Membu, but I could definitely be wrong.
It looks like Membu to me.
It looks like Membu.
Armand Membu. I mean, I would agree with you, Dale, and Divine. If you're going to put Will Campbell up there, and this guy is right there with Will Campbell for you, and Divine's even saying that he thinks he's the best tackle in the class. He's higher, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I would also agree with Armand Membu. I mean, it's the same argument made for Will Campbell.
Yeah, and both of these guys probably going before 17. But if one of them did fall, I think, gosh, it would be a hell of a pick. And I'm high on it because I do think both of them are very capable of going in the top 10 in this draft. Because after the top 5 or so talents, it's kind of like I could really see teams having a varying opinion. And that's why I go back to, the guys I do have higher on my board next. I've got Genty at 6th on my big board. But you guys, I know Greg don't have him at all. Chop, where are you? Because I won't keep bringing Genty up.
I mean, look, like I said before, I'm looking for athletes that can play football, that are just like football guys, and Ashton Genty is one of those guys. He's just a fucking dog, right? Except when he plays Ohio State. But Penn State, when he played Penn State. But I would agree with that ranking. I mean, at some point you got to just take the positional value of running back, and it doesn't matter because this guy is a fucking monster, right?
He's gonna and that's about. I could see him going like as high as 6 to the Raiders, so that's why it's like. But it's excuse me. It's also, you know, same thing with like Cam Ward. If we put him on the board somewhere, he's probably going 1. He'd have to be number 1 on our board.
Exactly.
Like, right.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm cool if we don't put him up this high. It don't matter.
I do see a lot of mock drafts have the Titans taking Abdul Carter.
Yeah,
I'd love that. I just want to keep his ass out of Cleveland.
Well, now the Browns are apparently favored to be taking Travis Hunter, is what
did you see who's pitching the Browns tomorrow? It's Mason Graham, and that may be a sign where they trade down or something. But I just think they're doing their homework on all the options. But yeah, it sounds like it's Travis Hunter, though.
I got to tell you, if Travis Hunter, he's not coming here. If he goes in division, that's going to be fun to watch because I really do think that he's going to be like the first legit player in NFL history to play both sides of the ball, like a lot. I just have that feeling. He's so good at both positions.
I think he'll play it. Like, I don't know how much he'll play it. That'll be the question, but I do think he'll get snaps at both. Yeah.
Can he get voted into the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver and a corner? Can he wear a jersey that says both?
See, I think he'll be more predominant at one. And that's why I think I've always said corner, because I feel like I could give a guy 15 snaps on offense a lot easier and having a guy being a full-time corner and giving him 15.
Oh, I agree with you, Dale. With me, if I was the GM of whatever team, he would be a full-time corner, and I would also have a giant handful of plays I could throw him in there on the offense too.
Unless I'm a team who just thought that he was going to be this all-pro receiver, and that's what I'm going with, and that's what he prefers to play, because it does sound like he prefers to play both. But
he's like, wherever I go, I'm playing both. I want to play.
Well,
both.
I think a team is going to have to take that out of his hands at some point, right? Because
you can't risk your shutdown number one corner for injury out there on offensive plays too.
Yeah. So I don't know where to go here with 6 and 7. Because I've got Genty and Warren. And then at 8, I actually have Malachi Starks. And 9, I have Jihad Campbell.
All right, that's where. So 6, I got Mimbu. 7, Walter Nolan. Then Starks. I'm a big Starks fan, but I like Walter Nolan, man.
So I'm sorry, Dale. I don't disagree with. Well, I do, I guess, somewhat with Greg. But what were you saying? I'm trying to get him lined up.
Because I went ahead and put Mimbu at 5. We're just gonna, since we got Campbell at 4, him at 5 for consensus, and then 6, 7, I've got Genty and Tyler Warren, and then at 8, I actually have Malachi Starks, and 9, I have Jihad Campbell, and then at 10 to round out my 10, I actually have Kelvin Banks.
Oh,
which maybe is crazy high.
Well, I would go for the next 3. I would have to say, and you could tell I did my homework because I'm looking at my sheet right here. I would go. I'm not kidding. I like Nick Emmanwori better than Malachi Starks.
It's fine.
I understand the argument for Malachi Starks with the fit for the Bengals, but I like Nick Emmanwori better. And I like Jihad Campbell better than him. So the next 3 picks, I would go like Jihad Campbell, Nick Emmanwori, and Malachi Starks.
What? No, Dale, you're like the biggest Walter Nolan fan I know, pretty much. I'm surprised you don't have him in front of.
It's just the questions. It's the same reason I find, like, because I said, we don't know the off-field stuff, but you have to kind of read the tea leaves of what you're seeing, and that's when I get to this point, I try to see where these guys are being mocked at, where the Bruglers, where these people are putting them at too. Like, so. Yeah, I love Walter Nolan, but I also am not going to die on that hill if he's going to go in the 2nd round that I've got him 5th overall on my board.
Let me ask you this.
It sounds like, and I've got him 16th overall on my big board. I've got him higher for the personal Bengals board at 13.
I love Walter Nolan too, but let me ask you this, Dale. In an average draft, not this year's draft, just an average draft, is Walter Nolan a 1st-round talent?
I mean, I think he is.
Okay.
But I thought Jerzon Newton was last year, and he went in the second round.
Well,
There's
I
injuries
think
with
Jerzon
him.
was because of injury.
Yeah, but then you just wonder. You hear these little whispers about things too, of like motivation and this, that, and the other.
Yes.
So, I think it's good the Bengals are having Walter Nolan in for a visit. I like the tape. It's just I think taking everything into account, because the James Pierce stuff has to be some truth to it, and he's way down my board. So.
He's at the fucking bottom, Mr. Irrelevant. He's right after him.
Yeah, but no, Dale, I think I asked this before. I just forget the answer. If Newton was in the draft class this year as Nolan, who would you have taken? Nolan?
Yeah, I said I honestly probably couldn't pick. I view him very similarly. Like I was that high on Newton last year, and I've been that high on Nolan. Like I just think they're both going to cause a lot of they're going to cause a lot of havoc, create a lot of pressures nonstop, and the sack numbers will come with that. I would say maybe Walter Nolan is a better run defender right now easily than what Newton was. So I guess maybe that would be why I'd lean to Nolan, because I know at worst I'm going to have a high-level run defender in Walter Nolan.
Well, you just got to think also, and like Paul Danner pointed this out, because last year we drafted Jenkins and McKinley Jackson. I mean, Newton, how better – all right, so we drafted Jenkins last year. How much of a higher – Bengals got to be thinking, how much of a difference is there between Newton and Jenkins? I think someone said that on Twitter.
A fuck ton.
Yeah, like –
pass rush wise.
I mean, Johnny Newton, or are you talking about Walter Nolan?
No, sorry. Nolan and Jenkins.
Yeah, there's a fuck ton. For number one, Jenkins doesn't rush the passer. Walter Nolan has he has moves. Like, doesn't he have elite pass rush moves? I know your draft guide says he could build on some, but he still has good pass rush moves.
He's got to get better with his hands, but like his penetrate, like his first step, and his quickness through the gap is just something that I don't think you can teach. And I mean, he's got strong hands. He just got to get better when it comes to using them as a pass rusher. Mm-hmm. But like you see it in the run game, like when he gets his hands on somebody and just like I've said, just two shotguns, man, just shooting them in the chest and getting them off of them and making a play.
Yeah,
and he can do that in both parts of the game.
I think that he's a different player than Chris Jenkins. I like Chris Jenkins. I think Chris Jenkins is going to be good, but Chris Jenkins is a run stopper and he needs to work on the pass rush. Walter Nolan comes in and he's an instant upgrade over Chris Jenkins. And that's starting off day one without a year under your belt, in my opinion. Am I wrong, Dale?
No, I would agree. I mean, I think that's why I'd have a first-round grade on one and a second on another. Yeah. Like I think Chris Jenkins still, and you hate to do that because anybody can get better, but just based on how things are, and he was never one in college. And well, did you see a giant improvement last year? And it's you can say, well, this injury or that, and I understand that, but till I see it, it's hard to just automatically assume that a guy's magically going to become a pass rusher that's never been one.
I actually want to switch Walter Nolan in between the two safeties. I know
we're getting nowhere with the consensus board because we don't even have number 6.
I know. Well, yeah.
Because we are not. Last year, it felt much easier. When we went through this, we were basically on the same page for or like a player or two. We're all over the board, which tells you how this draft class is.
The closer we get to the draft, Dale, the more I'm looking at these other players that are just like, football players, like high IQ football players that you can just tell when you watch them that they love the fucking game. They love the grind.
Well, Dale,
Chop, you got pen and paper. You need to, or something. You need to write down your 17 because this is the only way we're going to be able to do it. I will give my 17 to 20. I'll give 20. Greg, you have your 17, right?
Yep.
So you have your top 17. So that way we'll give one at a time each of our boards. And Chop, you can work on yours. Greg, I'll let you go first. So your top 17, and you can go a few picks at a time, or do your top 3, and then I'll do my top 3 while Chop's still writing.
Okay, so we're starting all over again. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 1, Abdul Carter. Number 2, Mason Graham. Number 3, Will Campbell.
All right, you got Will Campbell clear at 3. Okay. And you want to talk about any of them?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and okay. Abdul Carter, he's just a no-brainer. Like I say, edge rushers, everywhere defense is, even if we keep Trey Hendrickson, he's too good of a talent to pass up. Mason Graham, I didn't read too much into him because obviously he wasn't going to be there. But obviously, hell yes, anybody on the trenches, give me anybody on the trenches. Will Campbell, I figured that he's like going to play left tackle. You just move him into guard for the time being. Bam. One of your guard positions already filled right there. So you don't pass up that up. You do not pass up a talented offensive line like Will Campbell. You just don't.
So my 1, 2, 3, I've got Carter, I had Mason Graham at 2, and I had Hunter at 3. But like I said, I didn't have a strong conviction on who was at 2. Mainly, I was leaning Graham for the Bengals, but I think if I was the GM, honestly, what I would do is probably take Hunter. So honestly, as I talk about it, I think I'd flip it. I'd have Carter 1, I'd have Hunter 2, and Graham 3, just because I would say I think Travis Hunter can be that shutdown all-pro cornerback, and I can get him 15 snaps on offense. Or if there's a game where Chase or Higgins is out, I could use him in a little more on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, so I guess I would keep him at 2 just because I think he's a special talent. And then I'd go Graham 3. I'll go ahead and give my 4 and 5 because I've already talked about him. Then you can give your 4 and 5 what Chop's still writing his, and then we'll get Chop's top 5 first if he's ready. So I had Will Campbell at 4 and I had Mimbo at 5. I just think guys that can kick into guard but also play tackle, and I think both of them have a chance to be Pro Bowl type talents. And whether that's Will Campbell on the inside, I think they'll find the best position for him. You draft good players, even for the offensive line. Both are good athletes. Both have played a lot of football in the SEC. So those are my 4 and 5. Who is your 4 and 5, Greg?
So my 4 is Travis Hunter. Look, he's got talent on both sides. I just have misgivings because you want him to concentrate on that one position. Now, I think he can be good at your position, but that's great that you can play both. But it's just maybe just my opinion, just misgivings how he switches. You want him to be focused on that one position and stay to that position. That's just my personal opinion. I have no doubt in my mind he could be a great athlete either way. That's just my personal opinion. Number 5, Will Johnson. I know you pointed out he didn't run, Dale, but dude, you just look at him, 6'2". I think he shut down Marvin Harrison Jr.
Played well against him.
Yeah, exactly. I know now him not running, that still scares me. I'm just saying, man, he's got all the talent, all the tools there to be a top-notch corner. That's why I have him so high on my board at number 5.
All right, Chop, you got your 1 through 5 ready?
I got 1 through 5. So number 1, I agree with the consensus here. I got Abdul Carter. My number 2 is Travis Hunter, and then Mason Graham. Am I giving top 5?
Yeah, go ahead and get a top 5.
Will Campbell, and then what's his name? Membo.
Well, what? I thought what happened to Jihad Campbell?
What happened to Campbell?
Well, you didn't want number 6.
But you said he was 3 earlier.
When I'm sitting down and I'm right, I tried to go with our consensus to start off the first 4.
Okay, all right.
I guess you know what, man? Fuck it then.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing your own thing. That's why
I am.
Because we were not agreeing at all. So it's just easier to just give, and we'll go like 5.
Well, then I'm going to move Jihad Campbell to 3 and then bump everybody down 1 because I love Jihad Campbell, man. So Mason Graham would be 4 and Will Campbell be 5. Memba has to wait until the next round.
All right, and then we'll do 6 through 10. So, Greg, you got your 6 through 10 ready, and you can talk about all of them. Talk about whoever you want, a couple of them, whatever you want to do.
All right. Well, this is where the fun begins. So I got Mimbo at 6, pretty much just like Will Campbell. You don't pass up talent on a good offensive lineman right there. You know what, Dale? Is it too late to make a switch?
You can do whatever you want. You haven't said anything.
I'm putting Starks in front of Walter Nolan. I'm sorry. I'm a huge Malachi Starks fan. Chop, as I've told you over the phone, I'll be happy with either safety. I'm not going to have you say in your face, Greg, if we get him more. I'm going to be just as happy. But Malachi Starks, man, he's that guy that can go run all over the field. He can do everything. He's just a better fit for us. That I want a playmaker. I want that leader on the field. And I think Moore can be that too. I just think Starks is the perfect fit to pair up with Jordan Battle. Walter Nolan is next. Walter Nolan gives you that pass rushing specialist we've been needing since Geno Atkins. That I would be okay. Obviously, I'd be happy with Walter Nolan. Then at 8, you know what? I have Mike Green at number 9. Screw it. I'm gonna put Emmett Moore in front of him. I like Emmett Moore more. I think Emmett Moore, like Chop says, he's got the athleticism to play free safety. You could put him all over the field too. I'd be okay with either safeties. And number 10. Mike Green. And Mike Green, I don't think is going to be there for the Bengals at 17. I think somebody's going to take him. But Mike Green gives you that extra edge rusher. I'm just talking on the field with Mike Green. would be a great another edge specialist right there. So number 6, Malachi Starks. Number 7, Walter Nolan. Number 8, Emmer Morey. Crap. Just 9, Mike Green, and 10, Jihad Campbell, which I'll let Shop explain more.
All right, so I'll go my 6 through 10. I got Ashton Genty. I know he's a running back. I'm not saying the Bengals will necessarily take him, but I'm building my board, and I'm building it with talent. And I think, he would be 6th on my board. He's 4 on my board for all teams, and I just think the talent would be too good. And if he got to 17, he's the best player on my board, and no one else is even close. No one else is in the top 10, and he's at 4 or 6 or wherever I have him, then I'm going to take him. So Genty at 6, Tyler Warren at 7, similar reason. I know he's a tight end, but I think he's a hell of a football player in a class that's lacking top talent. I think he's one of those guys that it would just be not just a safe pick, because yes, it'd be a safe pick. There's no off field, there's no concerns with him. He's a clean prospect that can do everything that he does plus more, because you can give him snaps for short yardage, you can have him throw the ball. I'm just a big Tyler Warren fan as a player, so he's my 7. Number 8, I got Malachi Starks as well, and especially building the Bengals board, I do think he's a better fit to pair with Jordan Battle, and I think he's a good player. Had he been able to come out last year, he started for 3 years at Georgia. Had he came out last year, we'd have been talking about this guy top 15, top 10, Mm-hmm. So yeah, he had a bit of a down year, but he's still a damn good player. Put on the Clemson game, the interception from that was amazing. At 9, I got Jihad Campbell as well. Shoulder does concern me a little bit. It's almost a little hard to keep him at 9 just because that unknown right now. When will he be ready? But at the same point in time, he is far and away the best linebacker in this draft class, and I think the Bengals could use a linebacker. I think if he's there at 17, regardless of the shoulder, it'd be tough to pass on him. And then at 10, I had Kelvin Banks Jr. Same reasons with Campbell and Mimbu. I think you slide him into guard. He plays that at a Pro Bowl level and then kicks out to tackle. And I think he'll be just damn fine at tackle. One of the highest graded PFF pass protectors the last couple years at Texas. So they went to the SEC. It didn't matter. He still played at a high level against everybody. So I like Kelvin Banks at 10.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Chuck.
All right. So my number 5 player would be Membo. All right. And that's following up from Will Campbell at number 5. And then I would go.
So he'd be 6. Membo would be 6.
Membo would be 6. And then Nick Menwore is a fucking strong ass number 7.
All right.
That dude, I love that guy. And followed by Walter Nolan. And then I have Malachi Starks. And here's one that hasn't been talked about yet, I don't think, is Jalen Walker.
You're a big fan of him. That's cool.
Yeah, I like Jalen Walker, man, and I hope he doesn't go in our division, but I can see where he's going to fall down some because people are moving him to linebacker on their board. But, I mean, that dude's best used playing on the ball at getting after the passer, I think, even though he's a small guy, right, Dale, for that job.
Yeah, he is, and it's like, can he do that full time? But when you put him on the edge, he does just fine. And I mean, you hope he's Hassan Reddick. There's just not a lot of him out there. And Hassan Reddick in his prime, not the Hassan Reddick contract holdout. And I still think
holding out Hassan Reddick. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so you're through 10 as well. So Greg, you're 11 to 15.
Well, I got a little mixed up. So I know I kind of mentioned Campbell. Campbell was my 11th because I did a bunch of swimming. Like Chop said with Campbell, I mean, even though with the shoulder injury, Campbell, man, by the way, Campbell, I think, is visiting the Ravens. Well, actually, it's the UCLA guys visiting the Ravens. But either way, man, Campbell, you definitely still need to put him in consideration. 11. I mean, he could control the whole field. He could be your new. Do you see any Vontaze Burfict and Will Campbell, Dale?
Will Campbell, Jihad Campbell.
Jihad Campbell.
Damn, Greg, you got me so confused. You switched so many fucking people. I don't even know.
I know.
The fucking list is fucking crazy.
Sorry.
Do you see any Vontaze Burfict and Will Campbell though?
No,
Jihad Campbell.
I mean, I'm just asking the original question. I just wonder.
Sorry, Dale.
No, I mean, I think he's instinctive, but I think he's a much better athlete than Tez, and I don't want to take anything anything away from Tez because
No.
I don't know what this guy has between the ears, but I assume, it's pretty damn good the way he converted from edge originally at Bama to linebacker. I think he's a smart dude, so I think he's going to be just fine.
Cool. After that, I have Banks. And like you said, Dale, I mean, I'm okay if we took Banks at 17. I go back and forth. You can move him to guard, and you never get mad at drafting anybody to protect Joe, so I can't do that. Number 13 on my list is Tyler Warren. I thought about not putting him on top 17, but like you said, Dale, he's just too good. I mean, a report came out. He's a great prospect. Good to have in your team. Yeah, you can't pass up a talent like Tyler Warren. But I'm still going to be scratching the hell out of my head if we took him there at 17. But I think he's going to be gone by that time. But he's too good of a talent to pass up. And number 14 on my list, Dustin's going to love me for this. Barron can play all over the field. You can put him to slot. You can put him anywhere out of Texas. I saw a couple bits. So he's intriguing. Barron's intriguing. I don't think they would take him at 17, but Barron is intriguing at 14 for me. He's my 14th on my list.
Who you got 15?
15, Stewart. I mean, Stewart is someone that the Eagles could – no. He's a project. I was running out of options, but you know what? Screw it. I am not putting Stewart in front of him. I'm putting Harmon. I'm switching again. I'm sorry. Harmon. Actually like
you need to rewrite your list because
I need to rewrite everything, Dale.
When we recap your list,
right.
I don't even know where it's at. All right, I'll get mine.
I'm switching Harmon and Stewart. Harmon is now – I actually like Derek Harmon. Some coaches even came out and said around the league that they like Derek Harmon, that played against him. I would have no issue if we took Derek Harmon at 17. I like Harmon more than others do. I would be cool with Derek Harmon.
So my 11 through 15, I got 11. I've got Will Johnson. So he wasn't in my top 10.
We got the same 11.
There you go. It's where he hasn't ran, where he was injured half the season. But I do remember the tape from the year before when Michigan won the national title. And to me, yeah, there was a lot of talent getting drafted and a lot of talent in this draft as well. But he was probably the best player on that team last year overall. So I don't think that player has just disappeared. I think he's still there, which is why he'd have to be in consideration if he's on the board at 17. At least have to consider him regardless of not testing and everything, as long as the injury stuff, too, isn't a concern for long term. And then at 12, I have Mike Green. Once again, on the field, like Greg said, I obviously the sexual assault allegations you have to take very seriously. It seems like he's still being mocked high, so I feel like, people that know a lot more about this stuff must feel like the teams feel comfortable with whatever he's told them. And then at 13, I have Walter Nolan. You guys know I've been very high on him. I think that he's going to be good against the run because he's damn good against the run already. And 6.5 sacks this year was important to see. Coming from Texas A&M, you needed to see a little more sack production, and he can get after the quarterback. And I think that he's just scratching the surface of what he can be in the NFL. So I think, I would gamble on the traits that I see with Walter Nolan if he's there at 17 to make him the pick where, somebody else might be like, I would feel more comfortable in the 20s, 25, 30. I understand that.
Yeah.
I think I see the vision with him. So for me, he's 13th on my board. At 14, I have Shamar Stewart, and it hurts me a little bit because that sack production, 1.5 sacks this year, 4.5 for his career. It's brutal. But high pressure rate, athletic freak, excellent size. They talk about setting an edge. When Al Golden got hired, this is a guy that will set the edge. And if you feel comfortable that you can develop the athleticism into production as a pass rusher, then you got to consider him if he's on the board at 17. Now, maybe he goes 8th to Carolina. That's a fit that I think is a possibility. But there's definitely a gamble with him. But at some point, you got to put him on the board when you're stacking these guys and go, shit, it's a gamble I'd be willing to take. So that's about where I'd have him. Then at 15, I also have Derek Harmon. I like Nolan a little better, but I think Harmon's good. I just wish he finished more. I wish he didn't have such a high missed tackle rate. But he had a good season for Oregon. He wasn't really asked to do that at Michigan State to rush the passer, and he was able to get after this year. He lost weight, and he was improved. So if you think he's a player trending up, that's what you would hope if the Bengals take him at 17. So he is 15th on my board. Chop, what do you got, 11 through 15?
Well, number 11, we already talked about that, and I got Will Johnson at number 11, same as you. And then after him, I put Tyler Warren in there because you can't just deny that his athleticism in the tight end position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's definitely the number one tight end on the thing. And then, like, I got issue with Mike Green with the sexual allegations, but the talent's there. And if we're rating talent and we don't know everything that's come out yet, I guess I got Mike Green, and then I got Ashton Genty. Is that one? Oh, and then, man, I am torn, but I think I want it. I like TJ Sanders.
Okay, you're a lot higher on him than I am, but
Yeah, I know, but
he's a
I
little
also,
undersized, but yeah, he can get after the quarterback.
yeah, and he's dominant when he played for South Carolina, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because he was on the same defense as Nick Manware, and that just helped him out look better. But I also like Donovan Izariki.
As a Riku, or yeah,
And I could put him or TJ Sanders in that spot, to be honest. And I want to just figure out one of them because we got 2 picks left, don't we?
Well, you can have 2. You can. I'll probably go to 20. Greg, are you you have 16, 17, or you want to go to 20?
I can finish mine out. So I would put Donovan.
Guess what I did with 16 and 17? I traded places with one of them again.
All right. Well, Chop, give your 16 and 17 because
So
Lord knows
I will go ahead.
Here.
So after TJ Sanders, I'll put Donovan as a Riku. And then here's another one that I agree he's probably second round talent, but I love this fucking guy. You already know, Dale. Say it.
Oh, Carson Schlesinger?
Yes.
Yeah,
I love that fucking guy, man. I mean, if we could take him and Jihad Campbell somehow, I mean, Logan Wilson, I love you, pal. And the 3 of them together just going to make a linebacker beast.
Yeah, Dale.
All right, Greg. So what do you got now? You've switched so much. I don't know where you're at.
It's going to switch even more before the draft, but no. So 16, Donovan Azaraku. I mean, Dale, we thought this guy would be in the second round. He's going to be in the first round. I mean, he just keeps rising up the draft boards like crazy. I would not bitch if we took him. Well, I maybe a trade back, but I would not bitch, honestly, if we took him at 17 because you were such a huge fan of him, big time. And so I'll take your word for it. Then Stewart, I'm going to put at 17. And Stewart, I mean, it's just he's too much of a project. Who'd
you move up then? Who moved up?
I moved Azaraku in front of Stewart. I had Stewart at 16. Then I put, oh God.
Who did you have at 14, 15?
All right, let me start over. Start.
You got the whole list. We'll get
Dale, you got me thinking. Number 1, Abdul Carter. Number 2, Mason Graham. 3, Campbell. 4, Hunter. 5, Will Johnson. Number 5. 6, Mbabu. 7, Starks. Number 8, Nolan. 9, Eamon Mori. 10, Green. 11, Jihad Campbell. Number 12, Banks. 13, Warren. 14, Barron. 15, Harmon. 16, Ezeraku. 17, Stewart. Actually, no, I'm just kidding.
Hey, let me say this because I'm looking at my list and how I was working things out, and I had actually crossed off Shamar Stewart after Will Johnson, but I wanted Shamar Stewart there. And I agree with the sack production, but also what I want is pressure. And that fucking guy is another guy like I've been talking about who goes out there and he plays like his goddamn hair's on fire. So I got Shamar Stewart at number number is that 12. So that bump everybody down one.
Yeah.
So I'm getting closer to my 22. What do you think about that, Dale?
There you
I got
go,
10
buddy.
more left. Round out my 20.
My 16 through 20. So 16, I have Colston Loveland. And some people actually have him over Tyler Warren. I just think Tyler Warren's so much more of a complete tight end is the reason. But I think Loveland is going to be a guy that's going to put up a lot of numbers in an offense. So if he reunites with like Jim Harbaugh, who has a 22nd pick with the Chargers, I think that would be a great spot for him to go to and have Herbert have like a legitimate weapon there at tight end would be a great fit. So he's my 16. At 17, I have Jalen Walker. So you had him higher.
Yeah.
And I would play him at edge. I would play him at edge as much as possible. But, you know, if it's a chess piece I need to move around because he can play linebacker at a decent level, that's just added benefit. That's added value to him as a player. So I don't look at it as a negative for him. And then 18, I have Barron, who Greg already mentioned. So I would give him a shot to play outside corner because I didn't think the kid from Michigan could do it last year, Sanders still, and he had to do it for the Commanders, and he was playing at a pretty good level. Yeah. Maybe his ultimate spot is slot corner, but another guy you can move around, and a versatile piece there on the defensive side of the ball. At 19, I got Ezeraku. Obviously, I love this kid. He's got just pass rush moves for days. He's quick as can be, long arms. It's just overall he's not the biggest guy. Will the Bengals be interested because of that? I hope so, because I don't think you should take guys off your board that are super talented because they're not. They're 5 to 10 pounds lighter than you ideally want.
Yeah, right.
I think that's silly. So I hope that's something that changes with Al Golden as defensive coordinator. And then at 20, I got you Eman Wari. So guys. A guy that you guys both have in your top 10, I've got him at 20. I don't think he's the guy that's going to stick and cover. I know he's an athletic freak, but he's got some stiffness in the hips, and you worry about the feet. And he's put up some good production, but the role he'd be asked to play here, beside Jordan Battle, I don't think you could have them both doing it.
Well, no, when we had Ian back on, I rewatched when I asked him that question, and he said it's the backpedaling. That's the biggest difference between Eman Wari and Starks is the backpedaling and all that. So that's his opinion, but I still would not complain if we got him. By the way, I managed to round out another 3 more guys to do in my top to 20.
All right, who you got?
18, Grant. I know Grant's no longer needed really because of the signing of Slayton, but Grant's still interesting talent to consider.
He's still 21 on mine because he's too damn good to be any farther down than that.
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, he's still a great talent to have. 19, I went with Genty. I mean, look, too good of a talent. Say if you took Genty, you'd have maybe the best running back combo in the league with him and Chase Brown. It's not going to happen, but still, that is a badass combo right there. But still, I would head scratch a little bit. In 20, I still put Pierce there. He has the talent, but if I understand, I don't.
Ain't nobody going to his birthday party, Greg.
Nobody's going to that. No, nobody's going to his birthday party. So there's Pierce is number 20. He still has the talent, but
he's a fucking trick pony, isn't he? Isn't Pierce a one-trick pony?
I don't think so.
You think he plays the run good?
He needs to get better at it, but I've seen some flashes against the run.
And what about the rumors about how he doesn't like to practice?
That's why
that right there is the biggest red flag.
Well, this is a guy I would have had, for the Bengals specifically in my top 10 or 15 if it wasn't for these concerns. So,
yeah.
You start to get to a point where it's like, all right, you still got to.
If that's true though, that doesn't want to practice, fuck, I know 32 teams should be out on him.
Chop, in the words of Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice.
Yeah.
We're talking about practice.
Chop. Yeah, but you also got to show up to practice, you don't get to travel with the team.
No, I'm kidding. But no, Chop, I get what you're saying.
In college, I think they let these kids get away with a lot more than when they get to the NFL. It's not going to work.
Yeah. So Greg done got me talking about some of the guys in my 21 through 25. So 21, I got Kenneth Grant. Like I said, I think there is some upside with the pass rush because he's a good athlete for his size, and he's going to be a stud as a run defender. I got Tyler Booker at 22, another guy who didn't test well. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to take a pure guard, which I think the Bengals are looking more for somebody with tackle versatility based on their visits, based on their actions, but I still think Tyler Booker goes in the top 25 on draft day. I'd be shocked if he falls out of the top 25. And then Josh Simmons at 23, his is all going to be medicals. He was playing really good for Ohio State before he got injured. 24, the guy who had to fill in at left tackle for him at Ohio State, Donovan Jackson. I don't know how many people have him that high, but I was listening to a podcast where Nate Tyson and somebody else was on, and they were talking about that they think he could go in the top 20 picks. So it's like, I kind of already had him around in my top 30 overall, but I think for the Bengals specifically, and I think his future is at left guard, but you saw he could play tackle if he had to in a pinch for your team. He did that very well for the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah. And then at 25, I had James Pierce. So even though I'm like, I don't think you could take him at 17, when you almost get to your top 25, your top 30, those might be some of those guys available when you're picking at 49.
Yeah.
And I know if that stuff's true, Chop, you still don't almost want to touch him at 49. Mm-hmm. But damn, at some point that talent is enticing. And Carlos Dunlap had some issues coming out with the DUI, didn't play in his bowl game. We got him in the second round, and he turned out pretty good. And he wasn't playing a lot because Marvin didn't like his practice habits
Exactly.
at first too. So
no, wasn't
there's
Dunlap
a
supposed
parallel there?
Dunlap was supposed to be a first rounder. He was labeled as a first rounder for the longest time, right?
Yeah, that DUI, and then I think there was stuff from Florida too, just practice habits. And then when he got to the Bengals, I think Marvin didn't like some of his practice habits, but he turned into a phenomenal player. Played in NFL for what? Damn near 15 years.
He got a Super Bowl ring too with the stupid fucking Chiefs.
Did not get one.
Suckers. Fuck them.
But yeah, so and then I mean some other guys like I think that maybe the Bengals might be in on like Gray Zabel.
Oh yeah,
I'm not saying that would be the guy at 17. Right. I know it's a little polarizing.
I love Gray Zabel, but at 17, man, come on.
Yeah, if he's there at 49, I think I'd feel a lot better about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I want him at 17. That's why he's not my top 25 of the board here, but just some other players I could see them being interested in. Him, Connerly, who they do have a 30 visit with coming up, or he already had from Oregon. I seen Matt says here, he would have Connerly in his top 10. He thinks they move him inside. He's got the ability to be Pro Bowl. I just think my same concerns that I have with him at tackle, with the strength and things that he needs to improve. I think he's got all the talent in the world. But I think he needs to work on the same things at tackle too.
Wade says Mike Green will be the pick. Look, I can't deny that talent. I would be happy about that, but those allegations, man, look, I got 5 kids. Those allegations, when they travel, I mean, if it's a one time, hey, maybe, something is not kosher and it's not right or whatever. But I mean, this is multiple times and it's different places that he's went. Wasn't it high school and college?
Yeah.
That's the rumors. Sure. So I'm just like, I don't want Mike Green. I mean, I'm not going to buy his jersey. Fuck it. Like, if
I'll tell you, if we're picking like, okay, who I think will be the pick that, okay, I wouldn't like that. It's a guy we didn't mention, I don't think, on any of our lists. It's Mykel Williams.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
He's 44th overall on like my board just for players. This is quarterbacks, everything. This isn't Bengals like this show was more about. But I could just see, like, because I think he is going top 20. It seems like he's going top 20. Everyone mocks him in the top 20. And so what if the Bengals are sitting there and they're like, oh, if he wasn't injured this year, the talent's there. We're getting a top 5 player in the 20. That's what they thought they were getting with Cedric Ogbuehi as well.
I'm telling you.
For the same reasons. He had an injury. That's the only reason this guy ain't a top 5 pick, and they took him, and he fucking sucked.
We can sit here and salivate over everybody we want, but Mykel Williams is the pick at 17.
Yeah, that's right. Like, oh, man, it's going to hurt, man. It's nothing personal. If he is the pick, I hope he's great. I just I have a tough time thinking that he'll be the best player on the board in any scenario.
Hey, let me say this, too, about guard position. I personally feel like the move for guard is 3rd and 4th round. Am I wrong? I just think that, like, 1st round, I really want someone on our defense that just makes a difference. And our 2nd round pick, I think that there's still a lot of really good difference makers out there. And I still think in the 3rd round, you can get someone like Miles Frazier or Luke Kandra. And I think these guys are going to be day 1 starters.
All right. So, yeah, like Chop, I agree with what you say. I would, if say for the 1st round we got Malachi Starks or Eamon Morey. 2nd round we got the other defensive end out of Texas A&M, who I actually like more than Stewart. What's his name?
Nick Corton.
You get him in those 2 in the 2nd round. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper right there.
Yeah. Here's an idea: just sign fucking Trey.
Yeah.
Just extend Trey.
Anyways, that needs to be done anyways, regardless.
Greg said that he'll take him in a canoe.
Yes, I would. You saw my I worked hard on that.
I'm not ruling out if the guard is somebody that they like with tackle versatility in the 1st round. Like if Will Campbell, Mimbu, who I don't expect to fall, but if one of them fall, and then also Kelvin Banks. Banks is more likely to be the one that could fall. Doesn't mean he will. But if he falls, I think it'd be a good pick. I think he would be worthy of that.
I do want to say I will not be upset about protecting Joe. If that is the pick at 17,
yes,
I'll probably be like, initially I'll be like, dang, I really wanted like Jihad Campbell, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be mad about protecting Joe. Yeah. Although the 2nd round, the 1st round added to the 2nd round could fuck me up.
But
like if they go guard in the first round,
and then a running back, and then Quinshon Judkins, who's in for a visit,
then I'm
stop
like,
it. Stop.
ignore the defense for the first 2 rounds.
Stop.
Yeah, or a tight end or something. I'm like, well, fuck that now.
Yeah,
Our team
no
didn't get
running
any
back,
better.
please, in the second round.
I'm just with the Bengals, man. You always got to try to prepare for the
Oh,
worst,
yeah.
because the one time I did prepare for the best, I put out a goddamn T-shirt and said Destiny here, and look what the fuck happened.
Yeah, you shouldn't have ever done that.
So I'm back to preparing for the worst.
Well, Chop, you're right. And I had this is before I knew about your Chop Shop. A buddy of mine that ran a T-shirt business. I said, "You print me a Team Chase shirt," and it worked out well for me, just fine.
There you go. So you're Malachi Starks, is what Greg's saying. We get Malachi Starks.
I'm on Team Starks. Chop. We can love each other, but I've
moved Starks. My pick at 17. Well, you already know it's Jihad Campbell.
Well, I thought it was even Maury.
He's second.
Okay.
And then probably Nolan.
It's hard. It's hard, Chop. I know.
It's hard right now because we've been talking about him. How'd you know?
I don't think I have I just want them to make a good pick. And I think depending how it falls, I think it could be Starks. I think it could be Campbell. I think it could be Mike Green still, assuming the off field. I think it could be Walter Nolan. I think it could be Will Johnson. I mean, I'm listing a bunch of names because I think there's a world where each one of those guys, it could be Kelvin Banks. But I hope that whichever one of those guys that they feel like, okay, we didn't necessarily think this guy would fall to 17. We've got him rated higher than that. Boom, let's take him. And I'm just hoping that guy is not named Michael Williams.
Me too.
Yes, right.
And Dale, and like I was listening a little bit of Paul Daniels' podcast. He said the best: stop trying to hit for home runs, making these home run picks. Stop taking these chances. Hit a double or something. And that's what he kind of compared Starks to. Just hit a simple double. You need guys that can hit doubles on your team. You don't need to hit a home run in every single pick. Buddy, doubles are just as important as home runs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just draft good players.
Get
I think there'll be
reliable.
plenty of options with good players there.
That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Banks actually fit. Houday Bruce says Banks fits what the Bengals need, though, for guard. I'd like it. My pick is the safety, Eman Mori. Also, see, you guys are real high on Eman Mori. I get it. He's I think Starks would be a better fit. If we go safety, I hope it Starks.
When I say he's
corner, Will Johnson could fall. If we go linebacker, it's got to be Campbell in the first.
Right.
He's the only one.
Yeah. If so like Eman Mori, like when I say he scored a 10, that is wrong. There was one of them he scored like about an 8, and I think that was that linebacker maybe. But the dude is just a phenomenal football player. Like, I feel like if you put him on your defense, you can put him all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Good player, man. And we didn't get a mock draft in today, but maybe we'll have time on Friday. Because Friday, I'm just going to talk about some of the visits. And we already mentioned like Walter Nolan, but we'll just recap some of the positions that look like they've had quite a few people with interest for. Because running back sneakily one of those. I mean, because Judkins coming in for a 30 visit.
You know who I like at running back, really? My favorite running back is Amarian Hampton.
Yeah.
I do think that dude's going to be good.
Assuming Genty doesn't fall to 20, I don't think Hampton gets past the Broncos at 20 on draft day, like to be a second-round guy. Well, you've got the Broncos at 20, the Steelers at 21. I think both of those teams, you could see some trade up action with those teams back to back wanting Hampton or Genty if Genty falls enough. But I think there's a good chance Genty could go 6 to the Raiders still.
I think that the Raiders will probably do that unless Shamar Stewart falls.
Let's see, Matt. Yeah, it's about that time.
Not Shamar Stewart, Shadur Sanders. What the fuck, Shamar Stewart? Shadur Sanders. If he falls, the Raiders take him. But if not, I think you're right. Either that or they're going to take that wide receiver from Arizona probably.
Ted McMillan. Yeah,
McMillan.
And a lot of people are matching him up because people will say, oh, the Cowboys could take Genty if he falls to 12. But a lot of people also, and it's a fit that I see when I do mock drafts because I did a full 2-round one yesterday because the plan is to have a show Saturday, so I was just testing out the waters there, doing one with Newt and Parker, but Parker's got a new job. It's scheduled for 3, but that is subject to change. I'm just going to let everybody know. Maybe have to be a little later on Saturday than 3 p.m. Eastern time.
You know, I will say this, though, as far as like going defense, like right off the bat, is that if you brought someone in here like Tyler Warren on your first round pick, you would have for the next 4 years at least, you would have what you would hope Tyler Warren would be at the tight end position with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase out there with Joe Burrow throwing them the ball. And I would make the same argument for Ashton Genty, to be honest.
But then it's like, why did you sign Mike Gesicki? Because I get that he flexes out.
I get
He's
it
not
too.
an all-around tight end, but it's like.
So this is where I don't go Colston Loveland. Although I think the Bengals have Colston Loveland above Tyler Warren on their board, and because it came out that they were high on Dalton Kincaid. And if he was there, they would have picked Dalton Kincaid. And Colston Loveland's more of a Dalton Kincaid. He's not – I think that Tyler Warren is more of like we saw last year when Eric All was playing. Is that right? Where you got a blocker and a receiver, and they do them both well.
Yeah, and it's not that Loveland maybe can't develop more as a blocker. Like, he's not completely dog shit at it. He's just, it's not a strength right now. It's something he's got to get better at. He's got to put on a little weight and just get better at it.
Another player Choppy had about this, I'm getting sold on in second round, Swanson. Could you see him being a second round pick, or is that still too high? Yeah.
Braden Swinson.
Sorry.
Is that who? Yeah, I mean, when we had in on, he definitely feels second round. I'm more comfortable. I think he's a third round guy. I think the 1 year of production there at LSU, and like I said, the 8.5 sacks, it was like most of that was in 3 games. To me, that matters. Like, had he been a little more dominant across multiple games, like you see the 8.5 sacks, like that's a good number. But then it's like, well, most of this came in 3 games. He just ate off of that tackle in 3 games. Yeah. And, you know, not saying it was all bad. Like, some of it was big time schools he was going against, but. Yeah.
But Chuck, back to the safety bat. One quick thing. Right now, Moore is the Bengals' favorite because he's visiting, and so far I don't see starts on the list at all so far. So right now, even Moore looks like he's ahead of their list right now.
Well, I also saw a thing about people that they brought in for top 30s that they also saw at the combine and all that, and it was like 8 names and 6 of them we didn't sign.
Yep.
So
true.
I mean, it's not a given just because they're coming in. I like the fact that they're taking a closer look at him.
Well, I don't remember anything about Chris Jenkins before, but after we drafted him, it was like, he was here on a top 30 visit.
Yeah, see, sometimes it's not reported.
Like,
okay.
So you just don't see them all. Like, you don't see all the ones they met with at the combine. You don't hear about all the ones at the pro day.
If we get one of those 2 guys on the first night when we're doing our live draft show, I swear to God, I'm turning off my camera and I'm putting on my slickers because the floor is going to get slickery.
Slickery chop.
Well, what about if we take Michael Williams?
End the broadcast. We'll end the broadcast.
Yeah. Everything.
I'll just go, man. Well, I like Gelati too.
Yeah, I do too. Especially like, man, he's see, I had Tate Ratledge as the dream for the 3rd round, and now I don't think that's possible. So Gelati still a little bit of my dream for the 3rd round. I also think he easily could go higher, but it's a good edge class, and maybe these people that want to take Michael Williams and.
What was it about Gelati in your thing? It sounds like he would have been projected to go even higher, but did he have a bad year or something like that?
He's not like the prototypical build for like a pass rusher that you want. It just like you watch the guy and it's like he shouldn't be as productive as he is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But he is very productive. And this year his sack numbers was down. It was about in half. But the pressure rate was still insane. So he was getting pressure at a high rate. Yeah, he tested really well. That's what there's just so many things that it's like, he shouldn't be this athletic. He just, I don't know, but he just is. And he shouldn't make as many plays as he does, but he does. You know, it's one of the things. But it's not always consistent. And sometimes he does get, just completely shut out in games. But I mean, he's going to give you maximum fucking effort at all times. And I think you win a lot with players like that, especially that get pressure. But it's also how much of that pressure, it's like Jack Sawyer, right? He has a very high pressure rate, but if you actually watch a lot of Jack Sawyer, he doesn't have a lot of pass rush moves. And I would say Gelati, that's something he needs to work on too.
Look, I'll just tell you this, Dale. Ohio State fans are going to hate me with a passion. I do not want Jack Sawyer at all. I am sorry.
I agree.
I'm sorry. I don't want Jack Sawyer.
The city will blow up though if we get him.
I saw another draft magazine, and this is why I don't pay attention anymore. They have him as the best pass rusher in the draft, like best pass rusher.
Who does?
Lindy Sports. Lindy Sports had him as the best edge rusher in the pass, like best pass.
That's a bold
best
take. That's a bold take.
Like what the hell? What the hell? He's not even known as a pass rusher. I mean, like I say, I'm sorry. Sawyer, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I hope you prove me wrong if we do draft you, but I'm sorry. Yeah, just not sold.
Hey, I wanted to say that Naughty Two Slurps says trade is trade the pick, and I agree. Like the more I get into it, I really do feel like that trading down is the pick. And last night, for an example, I traded our pick 17 to the New York Giants, and I think they had pick 34 and the entire rest of their draft for our pick 17.
There you go.
So I took they had 2 picks and in round 1, and then we had their entire draft after that. And I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, when you got 15 picks,
it's usually helpful.
Hit a couple.
My whole thing, trading down sounds good. Who wants to trade up? What are they willing to give up in this class?
It takes 2 to tango.
So
what
I
would
just
we trade up?
But
with
yeah,
6 picks.
What's that?
We'd have to trade players.
No, I was saying another team to want to trade up.
Oh yeah.
Like
I also am kind of leery that there's even a partner for trading up because this draft is better in the 2nd and 3rd round than it is in the 1st.
Yep.
Yeah. I just think this may be a stick and pick, and if you trade, because you never want to trade down and get like half the value you would in a normal year because you're just trading down because you're like, no, I want to trade down.
You're right.
Because then you're not getting the true value of that pick.
Yeah.
And I think this is a class where it could be that way, especially in the 1st round, because teams are like, listen, I don't want to give you a bunch to move up 6 spots. I can wait and get my guy because I want to keep my 3rd round pick because I think I'm going to get a really good player in the 3rd round. I'm not even sure that I'll get the same type of player in the 1st. It's just one of those drafts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, boys. Well, hour and 20 minutes in. It's been a fun show. We'll be back on Friday doing a show talking about visits, probably a mock draft on Friday. Chop loves mock drafts.
I love mock drafts.
We can't give him 15 picks, though. We'll be here all night.
Right.
And then Saturday, plan is to do 2-round mock draft with Parker Blake and my buddy Newt, who's a Packers fan. And I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet. If we'll rotate picks or just all come to consensus. But as you've seen, consensus doesn't always go well. Sometimes you just got to just let each person do their own thing, like today with the big boards.
Yes, right. That's what we had to do. Fuck it.